So they just got me with the coverage that they played. They had played zero kind of inside that 10-yard area in previous games, and they hadn't shown the poppers with the linebackers popping out when they were protected. And I think back to a game against Cincinnati early in the year that they hit Jamar Chase kind of on a slant route, and so I saw the look and I checked to the play with the in routes, having three ends, knowing that they were going to try to pass off the guys, and Juju was going to pop wide open, and he did. But the credit to, they schemed themselves, and they kind of looked over what they could do better, and he popped right underneath where I was throwing the ball. And so it was a great call by them defensively, and obviously a great play by Zero, getting the pick. And then I got to find a way to tackle him or slow him down after he gets the interception. Obviously, it sucks. You let a game slip away. Credit to them. They played hard. They played hard the entire game, and they got a lot of good football players. And they closed out there at the end. And so it still sucks whenever you get a lead like that and you're not able to hold it through the rest of the game.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHP. Stephen St. John, Nate Bukaty's here, Jake Gutierrez, and you on this Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. That was a rough one last night. I'm not going to lie about that. Yikes. It was, in the grand scheme of things, that was an entertaining football game. But not if you're a Chiefs fan. I'm quite sure that, because that's what you do nowadays if you're a fan of another team, but that sucked. That sucked. And the Chiefs had a golden opportunity to move into a tie for first place. By the way, I still think they have an excellent chance of once again winning the division. So you gotta think big picture. And there were a lot of things that happened last night that went wrong for them that are correctable. But that was just a missed opportunity. That loss is going to leave a mark. Credit Jacksonville, because when it was 14-0, it felt like the Chiefs were going to have an opportunity to put their foot on the throats of the Jacksonville Jaguars and maybe come away with a decisive win last night. But Jacksonville was able to show some grit, fight back, not give in, not lay down like maybe some past Jacksonville teams would have, and they're able to hang around and end up getting the victory 31-28. And I don't necessarily dislike Jacksonville. I'm somewhat of a fan of Liam Cohen. I think he's a good hire as a head coach, and I think clearly he's got things turned in the right direction. But I think, I like the guy. I think he's a good coach. I think that was a good hire. Trevor Lawrence, boy, you got the full Trevor Lawrence experience last night. He will turn the football over. He will lose track of where he is on the field and throw footballs. He will make bizarre passes and crazy decisions, but like athletically, this is why he was the number one overall pick. That's why he was a star at Clemson. Think about how many times he ran his ass off in extended drives, or just made you want to throw something at your TV. And then think about the beautiful throw that he made late in the game down the sideline or he dropped it in the bucket, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only a handful of quarterbacks that could make that throw.
While getting blasted.
And then, the athleticism. I mean, again, that one play was kind of like the Trevor Lawrence experience. Someone steps on his foot, he falls down twice, gets up, and still has his wits about him to run into the end zone. While some Chiefs just stood and watched. Watched him trot into the end zone. And so, look, he came through when he had to. And so I know we focus because, look, we're Chiefs fans. We care about the Chiefs side of the story. But, we're so quick to talk about, well, the Chiefs did this or the Chiefs didn't do that. And they had 13 penalties. And, Harrison Butker decides to kick the ball out of bounds in the biggest kickoff of the game, which is unacceptable. That can't happen. That cannot happen. And so, they have a Butker problem right now. He didn't miss any kicks, but he killed the team with that kickoff.
Can't do it.
Killed them.
Can't do it.
Especially when you have a team that needs to get into the end zone, you can't give them the ball in the 40. You just can't hand them the football in the 40. Just kicking the ball out of bounds. I mean, what was that? Kickers get cut for that. What was that? And the penalties. Cochran alone with 2 penalties on kickoff returns. That last one erasing another nice return from Brashard Smith, and that would have set the Chiefs up very nicely with a real chance to have a game-tying field goal attempt. Mind-boggling stuff. And yes, a terrible, terrible interception by Patrick Mahomes. He's part of it. That was a 14-point swing, or at the very least a 10-point swing. If the drive stalls there and they don't turn it over, you kick a chip shot field goal. But there you heard him say it. He effed up. The Jags got him. They baited him and they got him. And he threw a pick 6. 99-yard interception return for a touchdown. So all these things, so many different things happened that didn't need to happen, that conspired for the Chiefs to barely lose that football game. And so, are the Chiefs still a playoff team? Yeah. Well, if the playoffs end or the season's ended today, they wouldn't be. But yes, the Chiefs are still a playoff team. Are they going to win the division? Yes, I think they're still going to win the division. But it was maddening to watch all the mistakes last night. All the penalties, all the mistakes. And there's things about last night that you leave you scratching your head. But all that said, you got to give credit to Jacksonville as well, because they made some big plays when they had to. Lawrence, everyone that we've talked to about Trevor Lawrence over the past week, he either said he sucks or he's mid, he's average, and all that can be true. But he made some big plays last night when he had to, when things had gone against him and he could have mentally checked out. He had a terrible turnover. Look. So many people kept saying, well, the Chiefs just gave away a touchdown. Well, yeah, so did Jacksonville. Because they were an inch away from scoring a touchdown, if not for a fabulous play by Nick Bolton that took the football away. And so, Jacksonville gave away a touchdown too. They had terrible mistakes. But they made big plays down the stretch. And they took advantage of a terrible, terrible night from special teams. And just mistakes left and right. from the coaching staff on down. And there are things that I don't have an answer for. Like one of them is just, and if someone knows the answer, please fill me in. We spent a lot of time this past week talking about the emergence of rookie corner Noel Williams and how good he looked and how his snap count is increased and how he's graded out in limited time as one of the best corners in football. And it looks like, boy, the Chiefs really have something here. Well, good. We don't have to see Shamari Connor so much in coverage anymore. Well, that's going to help because I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Shamari Connor lining up in the slot, and I don't like to see him in coverage too much. Well, I saw him in coverage a lot, including a back-breaking pass interference call. If you already know the answer, don't give it. But if you honestly don't know, tell me how many snaps Noel Williams had last night.
I'll excuse myself from the exercise.
Because you know.
I do.
Okay, do you know?
I believe he had 2 tackles in the game.
How many snaps did Noel Williams have last night?
Do you have the number of how many plays there were offensively total for the Jags?
58.
I'll say, obviously it's a low number. I'll say 25.
Let's give you an example. Shamari Connor had 58 snaps out of 58.
He played all snaps.
The guys that had 100% of the snaps were Nick Bolton, Shamari Connor, and Trent McDuffie.
Got no problem with a couple of those.
Jalen Watson had 56 snaps, Tranquil 52, Cook 52, Chris Jones 48.
Did he play all those 48
Right.
snaps? Sorry.
4.
4 snaps.
Yeah. What? And so I just I'm willing to hear what was he not 100%? Was he battling the same illness that mysteriously had Josh Simmons listed as questionable right before the game?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Did they look at his previous snaps and think, oh, he's playing too well? He's too good.
That would be an odd choice.
Is that like?
It's hard for me to second guess Spags on things, but that's a curious one.
Jake, you want to step in here and make sense of that?
I mean, in my mind, the only explanation is that he wasn't healthy.
Something we don't know about.
Right. I mean, that's the only explanation for him getting 4 snaps. Because he's absolutely earned it with this play. He's absolutely earned it.
And we've seen Shamari Connor earn fewer snaps.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know. That would be the first. I mean, when I saw that,
because we talked so much about him,
yes,
and he looked so good. That's like,
he's been fantastic.
You know,
he's been a bright spot,
and Fulton was inactive as well. So it's not like, you know what? No, Fulton came back. We paid him a lot of money in free agency. He was inactive. So it's
the exact opposite of what we expected. I mean, that is the exact opposite. As he's been playing, he's like, oh, what? His snaps should be going up. Unless my eyes are lying to me when I watch him play.
It's got to be something we don't know.
That's my conclusion.
I just because
it has to be my conclusion. It's like that. There's more to that story. I hope.
Like, how often does Spags get it wrong in the secondary? I just can't imagine. Because that's crazy.
And there will have to be other people that'll explain this to me. Like on that last play where Trevor Lawrence fell down and they got up and scored the touchdown. There are many people that know more about football than I do. What was Chris Jones doing? What was he doing on that play?
He was watching. I don't know why.
It was, and I. Mark Borich will be here. Well, he's here now, but he'll step in after we talk to Lance Leipold. But I don't. I'll show Mark the replay several times. I don't know what. It seems like there was an opportunity there to stop Trevor Lawrence from getting into the end zone, which would have been significant, because then they would have had to hustle to get back to the line of scrimmage, and the clock would have been ticking, and who knows what would have happened. Something tells me that they would have been able to get a snap off somewhere. There was going to be a pass interference on somebody.
But
or an illegal contact.
you had a chance to tackle him for a loss, even.
There were just so many bizarre things. Like, what am I watching? What's going on here?
I don't know what this says, but two of the most indelible images so far on the season for me are two of the three biggest star players kind of not giving effort in a big play. Like we've talked about when Kelsey, after the interception, just kind of putting his hands up and watching his interceptor run the other way. And then with Chris yesterday, it's like, what's going on there?
I mean, look, we got a nice message from Nate, not you, but a different Nate. He's asking, why did Nigel Williams only get 4 snaps? I don't know who Nigel Williams is, but he only got 4 snaps less than Noel Williams. Whoever Nigel Williams is, he damn near played as much as Noel Williams.
Nigel, if you're out there.
So either way, Nate, you make a good point. I don't know. Those are my the top. We've already gotten several messages sent in. The first one was about Nigel Noel Williams. The second one was, please tell me what Chris Jones was doing on that Lawrence touchdown. I don't know. Tad wants to know, was that really holding on Cochran?
Those both looked kind of iffy to me. I don't know.
And how do you avoid a double team block when the defender runs into you? Like some of the, we can ask Mark Borich more about that. It was such a bizarre football game. There were things happening. I even looked at my wife. I don't know what's going on right now.
Some of Troy's analysis makes it hard to understand what the call, if the call was a good call or a bad call.
And Andre again asking about Butker and his inability to kick the ball in bounds. It's just, you can't have that happen. And okay, so then you did it. I don't ever want anyone to ever ask me why I don't like listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, because that made my ears bleed. Many times they don't know what's going on. They misrepresent what's happening on the football field in front of them. That's not an enjoyable football experience, listening to them call a game. And I know there's a lot of people that love to get on the air and just absolute have a stroke fest for Joe Buck. I'm not one of them. I just can't. It's just needles in my ears. And then last night, it's like, this is why. I can't watch the Manning cast when it's an actual game like this, because there's too much grabbing ass and ha-ha for But normally, if it's not a Chiefs game, I'll go watch that. So I make At one point, I said, I need to turn the volume off. I can't. I don't know what Troy Aikman's talking about. And I don't think he does either, half the time.
Well, the rules expert would come on and say something to analyze it, and then Troy would like flatly contradict it and then say, "I agree with you." I'm like, wait, what?
Am I wrong, Jake?
There's a lot of contact
No.
there, but I agree with you. Not a pass interference.
I was listening to the app on the 810 app.
You want to
on-
love up
on
that
delay.
broadcast crew?
No.
Like, am I wrong?
It
It's
was
like-
even. It wasn't even synced up, and I was like, I couldn't take it. I'll listen to Harlan be behind.
I should have done that.
Harlan's
I mean,
I'm
it was
stupid.
it was behind, but
I'm stupid. I just like, you know, and part of it's the frustration of being a Chiefs fan and the way the game is going. But still, like, this isn't good. They weren't even like. That's not the top story.
No.
Either. You brought it up. So get
Sorry.
off my chest. That's fine.
Got you
We'll
going.
take a break. We'll chat with Lance Leipold. We'll get to Mark Bolrichter, Jeff Chadilla. Lots of stuff between now and 10 o'clock. We'll do it together. It's going to suck, but you know what? We'll make it as pleasurable as possible, huh? Thanks, Jake, Nate, Mark Bolrichter. We're family. Back after this on WHP.
That is a disgusting act.
What's up, Kansas City? Steven St. John here. And Window Nation is wonderful. Listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman made me want to jump out of my window from Window Nation. But I was on the second floor, and if I'd have done that, then I would not be here today talking to you. So I'm glad I showed restraint. You know, October's here, and if you got old, stuck, or cracked windows, that means you're back to dealing with chilly air seeping into your home. It's actually somewhat chilly this morning, huh? I loved it. Eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with Window Nation. This month, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. With the holidays coming up, that's a big deal. And did I mention Window Nation has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Don't miss out on free windows and 0 payments for 2 years. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus pay nothing for 2 years, and get it all done with 1-day installation. That's awesome. windownation.com and tell them SSJ sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's a feel-good show. Well, here's something. Here's some positivity. We have Kansas coach Lance Leipold on to talk about Kansas going on the road to beat UCF 27-20. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Stephen. How are you?
Well, I felt like I got punched in the stomach 14 times last night watching Monday Night Football, but that's all right. You know what? I do that, and I come and talk about it on the radio to make people feel better, Coach. How about that?
Yeah, well, it can be therapeutic to get it off their chest, right?
Yeah,
so, but as you know, 6-7 days later, we get to kick off and do it again.
That's exactly right. And so you went on the road with your squad, and you get a win against UCF. Your thoughts on your team's performance down in Florida on Saturday?
Well, it's very pleased to come away with the win, but still plenty of things that we've got to work on. Obviously, the first half we weren't able to slow them down in any way. They scored on every possession, and then kind of a tale of two halves where our defense played excellent the second half with a big goal line stand offensively. From the second quarter to partway through towards the end of the third quarter, really that middle eight of the game, we played really well offensively, and I think scored on 5 straight possessions. So all those things were positives. To be down 2 scores on the road and come back and win a football game is a nice testament of this team's resilience and what they're capable of doing. Want to start faster, obviously, and we got even a bigger challenge this week ahead of us.
And so, defensively, like you mentioned, you didn't give up any points in the second half, and that's impressive on the road. At halftime, was it more about adjustments or more about better execution in the second half?
It was really the latter, Stephen. To be honest with you, I talked to defensive coordinator DK McDonald. I was like, "Well, what do we have to change up?" He goes, we might add one little thing. He said, but other than that, we just need to execute more. And the thing that beneficial to us now at the college, the college level for the second straight year is, we do have surfaces on the sideline. We get to watch the film just after every series like they do in the NFL, so you can see what's happening and you see the assignment breakdown or a leverage issue or just flat out missed tackles and so it was more of an execution thing. We did get Bengali Kamara in the second half after sitting out the first half due to a targeting call the week before, and he gave us a great spark, and he was very disruptive, and getting him on the field was definitely a plus for us and helping turn this game around.
Boy, Coach, as Stephen was talking about the Chiefs game last night and then your game over the weekend, I was like running through my head how similar the games can be. Like I feel like in the past, college football a lot of times came down to, man, the bigger, stronger, faster team goes out and overwhelms their opponent. And nowadays I feel like I'm watching so many college football games that seem like NFL games like yours where there's big plays on both sides, there's momentum swings, and then all of a sudden it comes down to like the last 2.5 minutes of the game. And there's so much like game management that goes into it and all that. Are you feeling that? Does that track at all with you? The way there seem like there's so many more close, games with back and forths in college these days?
Yeah, I think the changes in college athletics, meaning transfer portal, revenue share, opportunity for talent to be more evenly dispersed for the most cases. There's still some gaps in some things, but for the most part, you've seen that play out where that is narrowed gaps and made for closer games, and our program has benefited from that, and you can see it across the board where games are a lot closer. I think that's one thing our conference takes a lot of pride in is really the parity between top to bottom is so close, and you can see it across the board with so many close games coming down to last second field goals, things like that. And I think if you look at even some of the other games across country, with upsets and you take a school like Vanderbilt and things, what they've been able to do and build their program and how they're playing. You look at a UCLA win last week. You can go on and on about things that have made the game so much closer, much like the NFL in that it was set up that way, and the rules and salary caps and draft, all those things are made for parity, and I think we're gravitating towards that immensely.
I'm just, because I think about how many things are on the plate of a head coach in college football. It's a massive logistical exercise. You got your strength and conditioning, you got your development, you got to work on your game plans on offense, defense, special teams. And then you've got game management on top of that, like how you're handling your timeouts and the clock management at the end of games. And I'm curious how much of that, like that aspect of your day, is taken up with analyzing game management. How much do you have to spend on that?
Well, as we know, that's one everybody does better than the coaches. So it's
right.
I'm a lot better at game management on the games I watch on television than I probably am on the sideline. But that's a joke. So hopefully, there are some things. There's things analytically that you break down. We get things from across the country. As I always say, we are our own worst critics, and as we look at it, things that we can do better and things that happen, and as things happen in real time, you've got to make fast decisions and do different things. But we've talked them out, and you take references, like I said, from other games. We look at it. We talk about where we're at as far as execution during the week, confidence in matchups, where your kicking game is at, things that are, all those things take a factor of, how are you slowing people down defensively? Is it going to be possessions? The biggest thing that's changing, I think, in college football is time of possession used to be a big thing. It's not anymore. Mm-hmm. It's not. You used to look at, well, if you run the most plays and control the ball, you're probably going to control the game and win the game. Now it's about possessions and yards per possession, points per possession, things like that, because you can strike early and often and still not be out on the field or win the time of possession. So there's a lot of things that change, and again, just to answer that, we do look at that all week long and how we're going to go about it.
Lance Leipold is our guest, Coach. After doing some research and studying up on Texas Tech, obviously they played like one of the best teams in the country. What stands out to you as to why they've been so successful so far this year?
Well, they're a talented football team in every way, shape, and form. They've built a roster that's very talented and deep. They got a quarterback who's playing extremely well. They can play at a fast pace. They've got playmakers on the outside. They have two excellent running backs that complement each other real well, but also are good receivers out of the backfield. They've got they're in the top three in our conference in every statistical category that there is. So they're playing extremely well, extremely confident. They're going down there is going to be a good challenge, but I know our guys are excited about it, and we're going to need to play our best football, but it'll be one heck of a matchup.
Hey, Coach, you announced some unfortunate news yesterday. You guys have such an interesting and deep tight end room right now, but Deshaun Haneke undergoing surgery and being out for the season for the second straight year. Tough break for him. What can you tell us about what kind of kid he is and the tough break for him, what he's been through the last couple years?
Deshaun Haneke, Topeka native, is one of the more impressive young men I've had to come across in my coaching career. About his maturity, perseverance, he's battled injuries, went through an unfortunate situation at Iowa State, and the young man has handled it with class and and all the things that you would want somebody to do. He's been a great leader and role model for our program. He's married. He and his wife are expecting a child in November. Everything about him is about what he can do, thinking about to be the best provider, to be the best father and husband he can be, as well as being a great role model to our younger players. And I just feel for the young man, because it's an unfortunate thing for a guy that's put a lot of time and energy into himself and into this program.
Coach Lance Leipold has been our guest. Gigantic game coming up on Saturday, 6:30 kickoff right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Coach, good luck against Texas Tech, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks for the time. Have a great week. Rock Chalk.
That's Lance Leipold talking about his team's win against UCF on the road, 27-20, and now they travel to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech, one of the teams that has started off 2-0 in the conference. BYU, Arizona State, Cincinnati, and Texas Tech, all 2-0. But right behind them, Iowa State, Baylor, and Kansas at 2-1. So a big game this Saturday for Kansas.
Got to watch out for those tortillas, the flying tortillas.
Right.
They'll get you. Real quick plug. I had a chance to sit down with Coach Leipold face-to-face yesterday for the Jayhawker podcast. So if you check out all the Sports Radio 810 sites, you can watch a good 20, 30-minute interview I did with Coach Leipold. And by the way, just to put some things into perspective, with that win last weekend, Kansas now has 6 away wins in the Lance Leipold era in conference play, I believe it is. They were 0-52 away from home before him. Before Lance Leipold took the helm at Kansas, they had been 0 for their last 52 away from home.
Seems like that's an improvement.
I would say that's a pretty sizable improvement. He's got the team like where you actually feel like they got a chance every time they play a game.
We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have former Chiefs wide receiver Mark Boerichter. He'll explain everything that went wrong and tell you why it went wrong and make everyone feel better over the next hour plus. After this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
No.
NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? I can tell you my least favorite touchdown was Trevor Lawrence last night. No, shut up. For me, it's the next one. That's my favorite one because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner in the NFL, every touchdown can bring you closer to cashing in, from first touchdown score to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting. Boy, that was thrilling, I bet, last night for the Chiefs and Jags bettors. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. The Chiefs were 3.5-point favorites, and they lost outright. But remember, when checking out these games, lines and odds are subject to change. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 810WHB. That's code 810WHB to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Kansas only. Eligibility restrictions apply. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
What's up, Kansas City? This is SSJ for Hy-Vee, and I'm so excited for the Chiefs to be playing football again. And their offense looks great, and now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents a gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save, only at Hy-Vee.
Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you
Welcome back to the show. Nick Jacobs, friend of the show, had a good tweet, a good post that I thought summed things up. The dropped interception on defense. Lawrence getting to escape from the pocket countless times before they finally decided to use a spy. The red zone pick six. Penalties that stall drives on offense. The Butker kick out of bounds. A mistimed jump on a clutch throw. And the Connor pass interference. All of these things derailed the Chiefs. That's a lot of things that went wrong, and they still almost won the game, but they didn't. When I ask you, Mark Bowrichter, by the way, good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Good to see you.
I'm doing all right.
I'm on one right now, so just, you know.
Hey, let him roll.
If I ask you, you know, what were the main reasons why the Chiefs lost last night? Where do you point the finger? You tell me.
Combination of all those things you just listed off. It's a pretty accurate description of what happened last night. The amount of penalties, whether those were on special teams, whether they were on offense, putting them behind the sticks that they have to make an explosive play just to get out of those situations, whether it's pass interference, you know, with all of that, there's a big portion of it. The pick six obviously was a backbreaker down there. You know, that you go back and watch that play, they just got Mahomes on that. Jacksonville did a great job of bailing those guys out, and he just didn't see the backer coming out. But a lot of mistakes over the course of the game, and you just can't make those types of mistakes and overcome them a lot. And it feels like in some years past, not to go back to other years, but it feels like in years past this team has overcame those mistakes. But I don't think they're good enough to do it right now. And that's obviously a winning football team in Jacksonville right now at 4-1 since they beat the Chiefs last night. It's extremely difficult at all levels of football to make those types of mistakes and expect to win. We're going through that at the high school level right now. I'll just tell you, same type of scenarios, right? We're self-inflicted wounds, and if you're not good enough to overcome those and you're playing good competition, which obviously the Chiefs are in the National Football League for the most part, makes it extremely difficult to win games when that happens. And then especially when you make those at key points in the game.
How do you explain all the special teams gaffes last night?
Well,
were those both holds on Cochran?
I think the first, I'll say this, I think the second one, they were a little bit, I don't want to call them suspect, okay, because I can see why they were called. The first one I didn't think was really holding. The first one, I thought that the guy on the coverage team got into him, was kind of pushing him back, and they were going down. Did Cochran have a hold of his jersey? Yes. But so does everybody else. That's a legal play. You can do that. It's not holding just to grab a guy's jersey inside the framework. Yeah. And he had one a little bit outside of it. And then as they went down to the ground, especially when you watch it in slow motion, he's actually getting run over, which is okay in that scenario because you're taking the 1-for-1. But he kind of twists him and puts him on his back, right? He kind of turns the defender at the last minute or last second or portion of a second, and that's, I think, what the officials saw, because if you see jersey and you see you going to the ground like that, the moment you twist a guy is when you're going to get the holding penalty. And I thought that one I didn't necessarily think was a hold. The other one I did, Harrison Butker kicking the ball out of bounds is inexcusable. I will say this, and I've said this before, I think on this show, or I might have done it on the pregame show. All through the preseason. If it was good,
you said it on this show.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, all through the preseason, right, with these new, which I know these rules were in place a year ago, but they adapted, they changed and they altered the rules a little bit this year, right, on the touchback side of things. Harrison Butker has been kicking the ball to the corner, right, every time. And if you go back and watch every single one of those kicks, the guy's fielding it about the 10-yard line, about 2 to 3 yards, maybe 5 yards from the sideline. If that guy doesn't touch, if they don't field the ball every single time, there's a chance that ball's going out of bounds every single time. And I've sat here and watched it every time, and I'm like, why is that guy not just letting that go? Because even if it rolls through the end zone at that point, it's a touchback. Now,
I've had that same thought.
It's got to go all the way through the end zone, and you got to get on it to down it still, not because it's a live ball.
Can't you put your foot out of bounds and pick it up?
Yes, you can catch it. You can.
It baffles me why they don't do that.
It baffles me why teams haven't done it yet, or just let it go, because it is a line drive shot that he is kicking. It is not a soft, high or any kind. The moment it hits the ground with an oblong ball like that, it is going to skip out of bounds. And teams have not done it yet, which is surprising to me.
3 or 4 times. At least once a game, I'm wondering, why doesn't that guy put his 100%. Foot on the stripe and catch it?
100%. So, I'm not saying I saw it coming, but I saw it coming. It's baffled me, and they've gotten away with it.
Time.
Yeah, and other teams have bailed them out with it. So,
and again, I saw people confused, but I feel like I need to repeat this because there's a lot of people that clearly didn't understand or don't understand. Any kick that hits in the landing zone and then goes into the end zone must be returned or down by receiving team. If down, then touchback is the 20. The kick hits in the end zone, stays in bounds, returned or down. If down, then touchback is the 35. Any kick that goes out of the back of the end zone, touchback is the 35. Because I saw some people say, Just kick it through the end zone. That
only gets 5 yards.
That's a 35, and that would be a disaster as well. And so it is, and that's why some people don't like the dynamic kickoff rule. I don't mind it. It sucks when it backfires on the Chiefs, but you're right. But that's Tobe. That's how he's being instructed to kick it like that.
I don't know. They've talked about how good he is at doing it, but I will go back. If you watch you can go chart him and look at every single kick. And Jake, I think, probably put it a little bit better. At least once a game. At least one time a game, that ball would go out of bounds with the way he kicks it. And it surprises me to all end that teams have not, and returners back there have not let, or a guy put his foot out of bounds and do it every single time.
You can't make that mistake in that situation.
No, but I'm telling you, it's been coming all year because of how he's been doing it.
You can still get a stop.
Yes, but the point is,
you can't give them the ball at the 40.
Yeah.
You can still get a stop, absolutely. But it's the combination of all of
all
those
of it.
mistakes.
Yeah.
But you know what would kind of like...
You're not good enough to win those games.
Momentum boost is, like, we get the ball at the 40. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot. That's part of it. Right?
Oh, I'm not dismissing the mistake.
But that's unforgivable.
It
he makes too much money to make that mistake.
Yes.
You can't do that.
No.
No excuses. Can't hand the ball to the team at the 40. Especially when they need a touchdown. We got Mark Bowrick here in studio. Back into this on WHB. More and more these days, people who are in pain are taking control of their health and looking beyond the traditional medicine. This is SSJ for QC Kinetics. People with chronic joint pain are learning that there are other options besides steroids, meds, and surgery. Patients fighting pain are getting lasting relief using advanced cellular level treatments. It's QC Kinetics regenerative medicine that can revitalize your joints using growth factors from your own body. It's a simple injection, not a hospital stay. It's fast and all natural with no downtime. If your back or knees or shoulder hurt all the time, you need to explore all your options. Be smart. Don't let them tell you more pills or surgery are your only choices. Call QC Kinetics and get a free consultation. Exercise your freedom to look beyond the same old solutions. Thousands of patients around the country find a better life with QC Kinetics' amazing regenerative treatments. Call now to get scheduled. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. You know, appointments are available on Saturdays, and they're located off 435 and State Line and also in Gladstone. 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics.